soil of Karbala, and he came to a place where the smell was a smell which he had never smelled before. The fragrance was so beautiful, it was out of this world. And he said, this is the place where Hussain is buried. He said, this is the place where Hussain is buried. And then they took the head of Hussain radiallahu anhu to Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad. When Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad saw the head of Hussain radiallahu anhu, even he was amazed by the beauty of Hussain radiallahu anhu. And he said, what beauty? And Anas ibn Malik radiallahu anhu, he was standing there and he was saying, there was no man who resembled the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam more than Hussain radiallahu anhu. But when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam passed away, and the Sahaba, they would miss the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they would go to the house of Ali radiallahu anhu, and they would look at Hussain, and Hussain would remind them of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Hussain radiallahu anhu would remind them of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad, he took a cane and he hit the lips of Hussain radiallahu anhu, and Abu Barzah radiallahu anhu was standing there, and he said, remove that cane, for I swear by Allah, I saw the lips of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam upon those lips. And then they took their heads to Yazid, and Yazid sent their heads to Makkah in some narrations. They took their heads, he sent their head to Medina with the women folk. And when they came to the grave of Fatima radiallahu anhu, they made a hole in the grave of Fatima radiallahu anhu, and it was buried with Fatima radiallahu anha in some narrations. This happened in 61 Hijrah. See how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala destroyed these people. This happened in 61 Hijrah. In 66 Hijrah, the governor of Kufa became a person called Mukhtar ibn Abi Abdullah. And what he did, he rounded up all those people who killed Hussain radiallahu anhu, and he executed them one by one. The narration mentioned that Shimr, dogs dragged his body through the streets of Kufa. Regarding Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad, Imam Tirmidhi related to Jami, that when they beheaded him and they brought his head to the masjid, they saw a huge serpent come out, and the serpent went into the head of Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad, and it remained there for a while, and then it came out and it disappeared. Then it came out again, and they said, Kajab, come again, and it went again into the head of Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad, and it remained there a while, and then it disappeared again. And the narrator mentions that this happened 2 or 3 times. This is how Allah disgraced these people. Imam Zahabi relates in Sir Alami Nubala that one of the travelers mentioned that I went to Kufa and I stayed at the person's house, and I said to him, all those people who killed Hussain radiallahu anhu, they died a treacherous death. And he said, you're lying, for I am from amongst them, and nothing happened to me. Look, I'm fine. And the traveler mentioned that evening fell, and this man went to straighten the lantern up, and his finger got stuck to the lantern, and he tried to blow the lantern out, and his beard caught on fire, and he managed to find some water, and he jumped into the water, but still he was burnt like a charcoal. See, this is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala destroyed those people who killed that person who was the most beloved person to the Prophet ﷺ on the face of this earth. In 5 years, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala destroyed these people. Many of the Salaf, Ibrahim Nakhi rahmatullah alayhi says, if I was one of the rebels who had killed Hussain radiallahu anhu, and I was given Jannah, I would be shy to look at the face of the Prophet ﷺ. Said, if I was given Jannah, I would be shy to look at the face of the Prophet ﷺ and listen to the words of Hassan Basri rahmatullah alayhi. Hassan Basri rahmatullah alayhi says, may those people who killed Hussain be destroyed. For what will they do on the day of judgment, when they will come to the Prophet ﷺ and they will ask him to intercede on their behalf? He says, I swear by Allah, if I was from amongst those who killed Hussain radiallahu anhu, and I was given the option of Jannah and Jahannam, I would choose Jahannam, just in case I went into Jannah and the Prophet ﷺ saw my face and he was hurt by my presence in Jannah. Listen, understand the implications of the words of Hassan Basri rahmatullah alayh. He's talking about not 1 week, not 2 weeks. He's speaking about eternity in Jahannam. He said, if I was given the option of Jannah and Jahannam, and I was one of the people who killed Hussain radiallahu anhu, I would choose Jahannam, just in case the Prophet ﷺ was hurt by my presence in being in Jannah. And really, from this one lesson you can take, is that how people can be deluded, that they can believe that they are doing good. They can believe that they are doing good, but if you don't stick to the teaching of Allah and His Rasul, how you can miss your target? After seeing all the love the Prophet ﷺ had for Hussain radiallahu anhu, they did this to Hussain radiallahu anhu. See, on the day of judgment, you will have many martyrs. You will have those martyrs for whom Bosnia will give a witness. You will have those martyrs for whom Iraq will give a witness. You will have those martyrs for whom Kashmir will give a witness. You will have those martyrs for whom Chechnya will give a witness. You will have those martyrs for whom Palestine will give a witness. You will have those martyrs for whom Yarmouk, for whom Yamama, for whom Badr, for whom Uhud, for whom many other places will give a witness. For who will give a witness for Hussain radiallahu anhu on the day of judgment? Who will give a witness for Hussain radiallahu anhu? Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu mentions that the day Hussain radiallahu anhu passed away, I saw the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in a dream, and he had unkempt hair, he had dirty clothes, and I asked him, O Messenger of Allah, and he had a glass full of blood with him, and I asked him, O Messenger of Allah, where have you come from? And he said, I have come from witnessing the martyrdom of Hussain radiallahu anhu. And on the day of judgment, I will give a witness to the martyrdom of Hussain radiallahu anhu. On the day of judgment, I, no other than the Prophet ﷺ, will give a witness to the martyrdom of Hussain radiallahu anhu. This was the honor that Hussain radiallahu anhu attained, the honor in the hadith. Many of us, we feel sorry for the life of Hussain radiallahu anhu, but the reality is that we shouldn't feel sorry for them, for they are people who are dwelling in Jannah. For the greater the sacrifice they gave, the higher the status that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them. And therefore, the martyrdom of Hussain radiallahu anhu is really a very tragic page in the history of Islam. But here, I want to debunk some myths. And these myths, these traditions are prevalent more in certain cultures than others. But I will still speak about them. Maybe the community here is far pure from any business, but there are others who do suffer from these ailments. See, there are many things around the Martyrdom of Hussain and the month of Muharram which really have no relationship with the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But people actually believe that they are a part of deen. But in reality they have no relationship. In the month of Muharram, one thing which is established is to fast. The Prophet ﷺ required the believers to fast on the Ashura, the 10th. Now many people from the India subcontinent, some communities more than others, believe that the reason that we fast on the 10th of Muharram is because Hussain radiallahu anhu passed away on this day. No, this is not the reason that we fast. The reason that we fast is because the Prophet ﷺ required us to fast upon this day. He prescribed us to fast upon this day. When the Prophet ﷺ migrated from Mecca to Medina, in Medina the Jews would fast on the 10th. And the reason they would fast was this was the day that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala emancipated them from the tyranny of Fir'aun. And the Prophet ﷺ said that we have more right to Musa ﷺ than them, so we should also fast. So the Prophet ﷺ would fast on the 10th, and the Prophet ﷺ said, if I live the next year, I will join another day with the 10th. Meaning I will fast the 9th or the 10th, or the 10th or the 11th. So our fast does not resemble the fast of the Jews. This is why we fast. And the Prophet ﷺ said, whoever fasts on the Ashura, Allah will forgive his sins for the entire previous year. For the entire year, all his minor sins will be forgiven. So this is why we fast. Many people actually believe that we fast because Hussain radiallahu anhu passed away on the 10th of Muharram. No, it coincidentally happened that Hussain radiallahu anhu was martyred on the same day. Another issue is that many people believe that you shouldn't do anything of happiness in the month of Muharram because it's a wretched month, because Hussain